I don't feel guilty about it. Yeah, but I've never thought that. Squid Game without the killing.
Oh, okay. I did affirmations before I went to bed and when I woke up.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fire and Rice Reheated, the second episode. My name is Jack, and with me today is Jenna.
Jenna Z Alvarez. Wow, 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 wow.
We need a soundboard for like a, you know what I mean?
Pew 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 pew. Yes, but yes, we are back. We're ready. We're good to go. What's happening? What's going on?
Well, I mean, I think the main thing is the fact that we are trying at least to do our second episode, right? I mean, hopefully for those that watched the first one, you guys enjoyed that. And, you know, although I will say it was a little bit awkward at times, but, you know, I think it's just us kind of getting back into the swing of things like we mentioned. And, you know, I feel like we're known to start on certain projects and then maybe get really into it and then stop those projects. So we'll try our best. But yeah, I mean, at least we're filming episode 2. So
yes, exactly. We are committing to it. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this happen for as long as possible. How about that?
As long as we can try.
As long
yes.
as we can do it. Because the last time it lasted about like 4 episodes.
We got a good amount.
Or no,
the
we
last
did
like the like season 1, if we want to call it that. I mean, we had 14 episodes. That's not too bad.
Honestly, that's kind of shocking. That's a
yeah.
lot.
We went a solid. It looks like we went a solid 4 months or so.
Wow.
14 episodes, 4 months. So, I mean, we tried, and then I think, I don't know, everything kind of just fell apart, just got busy, and then obviously the world shut down. So it was just bad timing, but that's okay. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of these types of things, is trying to restart them and seeing where they go. But, I mean, I had fun with the first episode. It's just, I think, coming down to getting used to doing this whole thing again, being remote, filming, editing. I'm sure was hard for you, with all the technical difficulties we had, and then just getting back into like having a conversation type of thing. I don't know. You kind of have to figure out the rhythm and flow of it all. So
yeah, I get you. Have you been working out?
Trying to. Yeah, I have started working out again, and primarily just been doing a lot of stuff at home. Just bought some dumbbells for at home. Been doing this thing where I try to do minimum 50 push-ups and other like curls or like sit-ups and squats or whatever, like a minimum of like 50 push-ups minimum a day. So you know, not in one go. I mean, I'm not able to do that just yet, but hopefully soon, all in one go. But yeah, I think that's been very helpful, is that we have our Peloton bike, so riding at least, you know, 10 to 15, 20 minutes every couple days. And then just trying to eat more consciously is good.
Do you have a meal plan?
No. Just kind of keeping an eye on what foods I'll eat, what foods are like easy to keep making. The other key thing is I'm not actually tracking anything. I used to do that very like meticulously in the past. And so I have like a good idea of like what foods equal like what macronutrients and like stuff like that. But I haven't done that recently. I've just kind of eaten what I want to eat and then check the scale. And if I'm going down over, you know, a couple weeks, then that means that I'm doing something right. So I can just keep eating the way I am and I'm good.
Nice. A nice bread substitute? Nori. Seaweed nori.
Oh.
Plain.
Yeah.
Not like salted. Like the big square ones that you use for sushi. What I was doing often was I would make tuna salad, and then I would take nori wraps and you fold it into 4 squares, and then you tear it and it creates smaller squares, and then you take it and you put it in that and you eat it like a taco.
Yeah. I've seen those for sure. I've seen a lot of recipes that are like sushi bake type. Yeah, there's a lot of substitutes for sure. It just comes down to obviously kind of what dietary restrictions you have. There's plenty of things out there and resources you can find. But like I said, I think the biggest thing is just eat what you enjoy and just kind of be conscious too about the portion size, you know?
It's about finding that balance. And I think cooking at home helps a lot because if you're constantly eating out, like I've been eating like McDonald's and Taco Bell, at least like once a week or twice a week.
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's the thing is like I said, for us, it's like we'll still do that once or twice, like once a week, twice a week. It's not in my opinion, it's not a big deal as long as it's it becomes a problem when you are finding that you're spending more eating out than you could be eating at home, and two,
mhm.
just eating it like every day, right? And like
Right,
those are the only
right.
things that you're getting, and it's
Yeah.
not that it's bad food, it's that there's the different things put into it compared to just like your whole foods and stuff like that that you could be eating. That's
Yeah,
kind of my 2 cents on the whole thing.
I get you. I think it's just funny because there was a time in my life where I only ate vegetables, and now I'm in a time of my life where I don't eat any vegetables. So that's what I mean about like needing to find that balance. But now that I am spending a lot more time at home in San Diego, I'm trying to prioritize that.
And the other thing too is like you're still young, and so your metabolism and the activity that you do and stuff like that, like you can kind of get away with that stuff. It's I think when you get older,
Yeah, and I've
it
been kind of
becomes a lot harder.
I've become aware of that, so I'll let it slide. Like I'll be like, well, I'm young. I'm 20. I still got it. I can live it up, eat the Taco Bell and everything. So, yeah. Yep. But anyway, what did you want to talk about today?
I know that we've been talking, texting back and forth about American Idol a little bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
So have you been watching this current season?
Yes. Yes. And I believe I'm behind on 2 episodes.
There's a lot of really good contestants in this one. Really, I can think of a few. I'm also scrolling through their page right now, the American Idol page, in terms of like people that I actually thought were good, have good story, and I'm excited to see. The other thing is, I noticed, and I don't remember if this is like just something that they had done in the past, but I did notice there were a lot that they sent through that in my mind I was like, okay, you're good enough for Hollywood Week, and that's kind of it.
Mhm.
I can't really see them past anything else, but yeah, I think we can talk about that in some future episodes if that's what the folks want to see. If they come back and remember the Fire and Ice season 1 and want us to talk more American Idol, I think we can do that. So we'll have to work that
Mhm.
out, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good one. I think it's gonna
I
be fun.
mean, I think with American Idol, I always find myself going, oh, this next season can't possibly be as good as the last one. And then as soon as the first episode starts, I'm already hooked. And I
Right.
personally like the judges' personalities. I have heard recently from a couple people, one being our grandma, Oma, that she thinks that Katie overacts. And I was like, oh, wow, big opinions, big opinions. I like Katie's personality because I feel like I relate to that sort of energy of just chaos. So I don't
Yeah.
mind it. I don't see it as overacting. But yeah, she and one other person has said that in my life.
I I can see that. For me, I think that it is true that I would agree with that statement, but it doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, take that for what it is, but I do think that there's a little bit of like she's very theatrical, she's very dramatic, and
Yes.
I think that's just kind of what she is, but it doesn't bother me. I just think that the three of them do make a really nice trio of judges, and it is really nice to see, and obviously um, there's a reason I think that it's been doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously, and I forget if we even talked about this in our first round of American Idol stuff, but like it really has moved from more of like a judging of people and their ability to like just like seeing people grow.
Right.
Like the first, not to say that they were super negative, but they were more critical
Mm-hmm.
and almost like a, almost in a bullying way, in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
for
You're
the old
talking about
judges.
like Simon
Old
Cowell,
judges,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
old
yeah.
judges, yeah. There was a lot of it was almost as if they were kind of memeing everyone, like
Yeah.
in that kind of critique versus like
Mm-hmm.
now there are times where obviously they do have funny auditions and that's fine and stuff like that, but they do focus more on like how can they help these people, and especially in I don't know, I feel like I've noticed it more. It's like they're doing it during the auditions where they're coaching people already. They're like saying, hey,
Yeah.
do this, try this, make sure you like do this one line again, and seeing that and seeing them kind of like coach and show the growth of these people is what the seasons have been more about, which is cool, which is really really cool.
Right. Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's not really about, oh, we're gonna humiliate this person on TV.
Right.
They
Yeah, that's what I meant.
treat it as a training ground, and that's what it seems like the judges come in with. Lionel, Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan. It's as if they look forward to actually being on the show and not just seeing it as an opportunity to be on reality TV competition, but to help pass on their knowledge and help, aspiring artists to
Yeah.
go on their way, And that's what I like
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it definitely feels more believable, right? Like for
Mm-hmm.
me it's like obviously they're getting a huge, I'm sure they're getting a decent bag for
Oh, for sure.
being on TV and stuff like that and being on these shows, and then obviously, you could say like, oh well, they're just maybe they are doing it for the money or whatever, but I don't know, it whatever it is, it at least feels believable to where it's like maybe they do actually really like, you know
I
the
feel like
people
they
that they
actually,
help out.
yes, I was gonna say, it feels like they actually care. And that
Yeah.
it's not just going to end after the season.
Yeah.
And especially us getting to see them firsthand and interact with the previous contestants back in 2019, and Luke asking someone like, "Oh, you find like a fishing pond out here in LA?" like they do care about these people's lives and their hobbies outside of just their talent and their career. So, yeah, it just feels very wholesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen? So you're not watching You. Are there any
Correct.
other shows that you've been watching lately on Netflix or
Well, that's the
this, that, and the
thing
other?
is, okay, so there's two of them. One we watched recently was Physical 100, and I feel like you guys as the family should watch that
Okay.
because it's Korean, number one.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that'll get mom and Jared
I think Jared and
and them.
Katya are watching it
Okay,
or
well,
have watched
there's
it.
that. It's a Korean show, and then two, it's about fitness
Uh
and just
huh.
like super buff people. So it'll inspire dad
Uh huh.
to like get on his fitness. Because I don't know, I watched it. It basically, the idea is, have you seen it?
No, I
Okay.
haven't.
Okay, so you guys should watch it because it's pretty cool. It's fun. It's really entertaining and fun. Basically, it's Squid Game without the killing.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's 100 people, physical 100 people competing in like Squid Game type stuff, and it just like people get eliminated, and it's battle royale. It's last man standing kind of thing.
Is this a
So
Netflix original?
I don't know if it's original, but it's on Netflix right now.
Okay.
And it's just really really fun. It's like all the competitive like energy that you want, and you just like see all these like fit people, whether they are on steroids or not. It's whatever. Like there's bodybuilders. Oh, and let me take a step back. The concept is like they're trying to find who has the best physique,
Uh
the
huh.
best physical status, and that's why they bring in people that are like Olympic athletes, gymnasts, dancers, ice skaters, bodybuilders, CrossFit, marathon runners. Like they get all of these athletic people, different builds, huge muscles, or like there are maybe like the strong fat guy type build,
Uh-huh.
just because they have so much mass, they can lift a ton of weight. Um, and they just put them through all these different physical challenges. They get put on teams, some solo stuff, and like uh it's really short. It's only like maybe, I think it was like 9 or 10 episodes or something like that. And it's just a competition to see who can make it to the end. And it's very motivating too. Like that's also kind of why it's been fun to just like work out a lot, is watching that show. So
Oh, so this show has motivated you to work out by watching it.
I was doing it before, but definitely watching it made me want to do it more.
Helped more. Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's a fun show, and
Well, that's cool.
and I think you guys should watch it. It's interesting. We could talk about it just because, like I said, it is Korean. So I've been seeing a lot of stuff online of like, oh, America will adapt the show, and it's just going to be horrible because it's like the different cultures and egos, the cultural difference.
Oh, so all the people on it are Korean. Is that
There
what you're
are,
saying?
it's all Korean people except for like 3 or 4. I forget how many, but there's like a guy that played baseball for the Arizona Diamondbacks that moved to Korea to play for the Korean team or something like that.
Got
So
it.
he's like, he speaks a little Korean. There's like a dancer guy. There's
Do they speak
a dude from like,
Korean on the show then?
yeah,
Okay.
and a
okay.
little bit of English mixed in, like in
Okay.
their like talking head interviews. But it's really
Mhm.
cool. It's a fun show. It's yeah. There's no like cringe ego. It's like all just like respectful stuff and respectful competition, and it's really really fun. So it's like
Interesting.
an easy watch. And you don't have to like pay full attention. You know what I mean? You can
Mhm.
definitely keep it on while you're like cooking or something. That's what we did, and then just watching it while we're eating. Um, but that's a good show. And then I'm surprised I haven't heard you guys watching The Last of Us.
You know, I know. Here's my thing. I think when a bunch of people are screaming at me to watch something, it
You
makes me
don't
not
watch
want to watch
That's
it.
fine. Yeah, I get it. I get it. That is true.
It's the dad effect, you know? When you tell our dad, go eat at this restaurant, it's the best food in the world, he automatically hates it going
Hates
in.
the
And it's
food.
very
Right,
hard to
right.
change his opinion. So when everyone's like, oh, Pedro Pascal, it is so attractive. And I'm like, what? What? I mean, not to knock the dude.
Yeah.
It's just a lot, you know, when the whole internet is just like blah, blah, blah. It was the same thing with Euphoria for me. That's why it took me the longest time to watch it, and I still haven't watched the first season, but I wanted to watch the second season when it came out. So I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to watch the first season. I'll just jump into the second season so I'm on the same page as everyone, and if I want to, I can go back. And I liked the second season, but now I'm like, well, now I don't need to watch the first season. So, and the thing is, with The Last of Us, I watched you play the video game, and I know
yeah.
what happens in the second video game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is kind of what I figured you guys would say. Is like, well, we've already seen you play it, but it's like it's interesting how they've changed a few things, and also
Interesting.
because we haven't played it, you guys haven't seen me play it in so long. Because that first game came out probably more than, I think it's 10 years now. It's been 10
It's
years
been
since
a long time, because I remember they were like, oh, we're going to make a movie. And then they scrapped that.
And then they scrapped that. Yeah, that they did announce that like at one of the Comic Cons we were at. But like, yeah, it's been so long that even I kind of forgot some of the story points that I was like, was this in the game or was this not? And some of it's not. Some of it's just like brand new stuff that they were just like, cool, let's run it.
Interesting.
And it's got the Mandalorian effect, right? Like obviously with Pedro being in it, that's whatever, but the fact that like for Mandalorian, you have like John and Dave that kind of got to work with George Lucas a little bit, right? So they have like the essence of Star Wars that they've brought into the Mandalorian, and that's why it was so successful in like the first couple seasons. And like this season, we've been watching it. I don't know yet kind of how I feel about it, but like the idea of when Mandalorian came out and it was such a big hit is because it was like true Star Wars feeling, right? Because they had ties to like the source with George. This, for The Last of Us, the director works with, and even I think he's actually the executive producer, is the guy that made the game. The guy that made the game is working on the show. So he's like actually saying, we have to keep this the way it is versus, I'll let you run with this idea to fill in the blank. And that's why it's, I think, been so successful, especially coming from all these different failed video game shows and movies.
Yeah.
It's like, this is finally one where it's like, we appreciate what they did, that they kept true to, and we also appreciate what they changed because it's different. So,
but does it take away from the video game itself when the whole point of a video game is to be that character, to play through the game and to figure out the storyline yourself? And when you take away that element and just allow it to just be a story to watch, does that kind of remove what the purpose of the first game was supposed to be about?
Well, I think that's interesting because it was like where it kind of had elements of when we went through the game, I was playing it and you guys were kind of in the back seat either telling me to do this or go this way, kill that guy, skip that guy. And so you got to choose your own adventure in the action part, but the story part remained the same. What you did in like the action sequences or the stealth parts of the game with whatever didn't impact the story. So you, no matter what, always got the story. So basically in the show, they cut all of the sneaking around and stuff and they just give you the story. And I mean, the story itself was super good.
Well, you are convincing me. I do now have more of an inkling to want to watch it, because before I was like, nah. But now that I'm thinking about it, because my whole thing is, well, if someone turned Detroit Become Human, my favorite video game, into a show, would I watch it? And I don't know, because I like the aspect of playing the game, and I don't know if it would be done well, especially when that game is specifically like you choose your own story and it affects the story.
Right.
So then you get to pick it in that way. Whereas, yeah, I guess with this game, it was still the same outcome. It's just the little in-between parts that are you. And I do like The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was a great show. So is it in that similar vein? Of like zombie apocalypse, Rick needing to find Carl.
So you remember how we always praised the like first few seasons of The Walking Dead of being like about the people rather than the zombies?
Yes.
This is like that, but even more, where it's like it's about the people. And that's actually one of the critiques that people had, was like, we need more zombies in this because the game has like a ton, right? But again, like I said, you only see the zombies in the game when you're doing the stuff that like you navigate the world in between your story points. And
right.
And I'm saying that they cut it out not in a bad way, just more of like that was the filler of the game that makes it go for, a 14-hour game. Yeah. They can now put this into like a 6 or 8 hour show because they cut out all of the like running through the world, which that built story, like that built the world, that was the world building and the story lore that you experience in the game. They still do that because of the locations that they've like CG'd or like that they created on sets, and then like some of the small dialogue still fills in the story bits. And the other cool thing too is like they just took lines straight out of the game, and there's a lot of like the YouTube videos that we've been watching on the side that like recap. They'll also show like side by side of like, oh, this is how it was in the game, and then they'll be like, maybe the line is exactly the same, whereas like a word is different, but the inflection is all there. It's like pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see.
I think I would like that.
Yeah, it's fun, and also a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, the after the episode type thing. It's really, there's a lot of moments that are very like, wow, this is like something I can get behind kind of thing too. Mm-hmm. A lot of cool stuff that they did.
As long as it does the game justice.
It did.
And apparently the acting is really good, and everyone's obsessed with Pedro and the girl. So yeah, because Pokemon was a video game that turned into a TV show,
Yeah,
and
but that's
everyone
it.
loves Pokemon.
Yeah, but that's animation. I'm thinking of
Yes,
like
yes.
think of like Dragon Ball or something, or like Avatar, or like Resident Evil being a video game turned into like I'm thinking of like
Avatar?
I'm thinking of like TV shows turned live action or video games turned live action, like just things that are like alternative media that have turned into live action.
Right. Once I thought about it as in like, well, I mean, I can't just gatekeep video games if we're turning books into movies or books
That
into
too.
TV shows, right? Like You is a book that turned into a TV show. So,
Right.
I was wrong. Art can go through several mediums, and it's up to you to choose which ones you want. And that's why humans are just humans who enjoy, like, pop culture and art and storytelling, and it's okay to have opinions.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I mean, the last point I guess I'll make until you guys watch it is just like, for anyone out there that watched the most recent Halo live action TV show on Paramount, me and my friends pitched in to buy one account that we could just watch the episode just because we were like, oh, it's Halo. That's what we grew up on. We kind of knew that it wasn't going to be great, but then we watched the first like 2 episodes and man, it is horrible. Like it's a disgrace to Halo. Like it's so sad that it got to the point where we like ended up doing a watch party on Discord just to like trash the show. And I feel bad saying this, but at the same time, it's like, man, it's so bad. Just, you could tell that there was no love from like, it didn't feel like the people that made it cared about the show. They like, there's literally a scene where, and it's like, it's ingrained in my memory now, where they like try to recreate what it looks like when you're playing the game. So like from the first person, and the guy has like the gun, on the screen, and then they have the little like crosshair on the screen, and they have the little like ammo on the thing. And instead of it being like cool, it just felt like you don't get it. Like you don't get the concept. You're just doing this because you've seen it in a screenshot of what the game looks like, and now you're just putting it in just to put it in. But it didn't like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just felt so. Anyways, that's the most recent like video game to live action that I can think of that just completely bombed. And so now to have something like this, it's like, wow, they're actually doing something right.
Well, people can see through inauthenticity. Oh no, another word I can't say. Oh no. Well, but that's the thing, is like, I feel as though a lot of, sometimes, not everyone, but some creators who make TV shows, movies, etc., kind of feel like they can get away with things. And Jared, our other brother, has been frustrated with certain shows because he's like, man, they think we're dumb, man, they think we're stupid. It's like, that's a way of putting it. Yeah, people think that they can get away with certain, like, lack of effort or lack of details or research because they're like, well, if people just love whatever we're presenting and not really doing the research to make it good, great, and with love and care, people are going to see through it.
Yeah.
So that's why it helps that with The Last of Us, the creator is a producer on that show. That makes me feel better about it.
Exactly. That for sure. The other thing too I just thought about is I talk about it with people at work who are older that don't play video games, and they're like, I love the show. It's so good.
Yeah.
And so and then they're like, I heard it's based on a video game. Did you play? I'm like, yeah, it's a game that I, played a long time ago, and it's like, so it's really, really cool that people that haven't even played it, had no idea what it was about, just watched it and then found out that, oh, this is coming from some video game. And then they're asking me about it because they know that I'm like the resident gamer of the office kind of thing. It's like, oh, well, how is it? I'm like, it's exactly the way it is. Like it's very, very accurate and it's really cool. So the fact that those types of people enjoy it I think to me says a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely taking the world by storm right now. It is
For sure.
the most talked about thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't really
And
think of anything else.
yeah, and kind of like you were saying too, I get it. It's like everyone's talking about it. So if you're not really like starting it with them, it's kind of just like, okay, you guys are being like annoying. I want to be like almost, I kind of just want to get out of it just because I get it. I get it. I do. So,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I say give it a shot. I know that I'm one of the other people, but it's like,
here's
it's
the
good.
thing. I know that once I get into it, I'll be obsessed with it and I'll make it my life. Because oftentimes I'll be behind on something. Same thing happened with Euphoria, and I was like, oh, it's so good. And then I'll pretend like I was there with the crowd from the beginning. Well, I'll obviously acknowledge that, okay, I wasn't in it before, but, you know, that's how good it is. I was behind, I was kind of against it, and the fact that they were able to turn me around to join, I'm all for it. It's kind of like the Selena Gomez, Hailey Bieber drama. Have you heard about it?
I have heard about it, but I'm just so far out that I don't know anything technically. I just know
Right.
that there's drama.
So was I. So was I. And this whole time I was so removed from it because it was a thing that the whole world was talking about. And I was like, man, I'm hearing like little bits and pieces, but is it really that calculated as everyone says it is? And then I was like, let me just dive into the lore. Let me just lean into it and see what I can gather and form my own opinion about it. And I'm like, ooh, okay, now that I do know more about it, I don't know these people personally. A lot of us in the world don't know these people personally.
Yeah.
But it's not looking good for one person in particular.
Yep, I have no idea who you're talking about, so it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
you love Selena Gomez, right?
I haven't really been keeping up. You see what I'm saying? Like
No, but
that's
you
literally.
have the Selena Gomez CD in your room.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I used to, but I mean, I haven't really been keeping up. Like I said, I don't know.
So Jack, are you team Selena or are you team Hailey?
This is a
The
loaded
people
question
want to
because
know.
I don't
People
know. I
want to
don't
know.
see because I don't have any context. I think I refuse to. Like my lawyer.
Okay, so if I give you just the details themselves.
Yeah, but what if the details are biased? You see what I'm saying? Because what if the research you have done is biased?
I know that it is. But at the same time, if it's biased or not, it's still it still doesn't look great no matter what way you try to see it.
Listen, all I have to say is this past weekend, Taylor Swift was in town and was playing at the stadium where our apartment used to be. So there you go. I mean,
What do you mean, there you go?
I'm changing the topic. It's a simple. Easy. Listen, people were camping out in front of our stadium by our apartment so that they could hear the Taylor Swift set list before she even played it because she was rehearsing at night. See?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, hey, look, listen, would I have gone to that? Maybe. I don't know if I could have gone. I don't know. Hey.
So what you're saying is we don't take a stance. We don't take teams on Fire and Rise.
I have no. You can have your team, but I don't have enough research done, whether it's biased or non-biased. I like to make sure I have my research done and then I can plead my case, but
so what you're saying is you'll do your research outside of the show.
No, because I simply don't care about those two individuals. I simply don't care about those two individuals. So I don't have the desire to research it. For me, I try to stay in the pop culture enough to where I just hear that there's drama, and if I care enough about those people, then I'll actually dive into it. But it's to a point where I'm just like, cool, I saw that there was something and I did not care enough to research what was going on. So that's my take.
I get you. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, none of us, not a single person, other than their immediate friends and family, know these people
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
So it's hard to have any sort of opinion about it, like actual real, and I don't condone the bullying that's happening on either end. So you can have your opinions, but just it's not cool to go out and attack people, regardless if you think they're gonna see it or not. They do see it. Like, they're not just, I don't see anything bad. Like, they're not so far removed. I think people see celebrities as like so like not as people, that they feel that they can treat them and feel like they can have these kinds of opinions on them that doesn't affect them in a way, but they're just people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
True.
But anyway, so this leads us to a new segment that I want to introduce to the podcast.
Okay.
Called, I'm still working out the kinks of the name. It'll either be called self-care of the week, self-love of the week, little sis advice of the week. Which one of those do you like?
I don't know. Name pending, TBD, TM soon.
Alright, basically just something that's been on my mind for the week that I want to share with the listeners out there. Basically, self-affirmations. Daily self-affirmations.
What does that mean?
Thank you for asking. Daily self-affirmations means basically whether you say it to yourself in the mirror or you write it down in your book. Open up a book, grab a pen, and write down 3 short sentences. I am strong, I am smart, I am beautiful. And now pick a number. I always pick the number 8 because that's my favorite number. And I write those 3 short blurbs over and over again, 8 times. They say that it really only takes you 3 times for something to sink into your body. At least this is what I was taught in acting school. It's, you say something, the first time you say something, you're just kind of saying it. The second time, you're processing it. By the third time, it's your own words.
Yeah.
So at least
sure.
write something, say something 3 times. But I like to do it 8 times so that it really sinks into my system. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because for a while there, I was all over the place. All over just bleh, mind, And I do this subconsciously, but oftentimes I will dismiss myself. I will go, oh, you can't do this, or you're not good enough for that, or oh, you're super weird today, or this and that, and you said that wrong. But we do these things subconsciously, and it affects our brains. So you need to reprogram it, and as weird as it sounds, it really does work. After just doing it last night before I went to bed, and this morning, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I can breathe easier. I feel like I can be more myself. And that's just by repeating these simple phrases. And it's so easy. And that is my advice for the week. Try it out. See how it goes. Be consistent with it and see how it changes the way that you navigate life.
Interesting. Very cool.
Because it can also affect the way that you make choices and decisions and the way that you view people. So if someone comes up to you and they accidentally bump into you and then they look over and they're like, oh, sorry. And you are in your head going, everyone's against me, the whole world's against me. And that one person bumps into you, your brain starts to make this narrative like, that person is also against me. Everyone's against me. the world is against me, you know, and then you have a secret vendetta against that person now. And you start to create enemies with people around you when nothing is really that deep or intentional. And whereas if you have a mind where you're just thinking like, oh, the world has my back, everyone's all good, we're all friends, and someone just happens to accidentally bump into you, then they say, oh, sorry, and you're like, oh, it's okay, you know? Then you just brush it off as if nothing happened. And it's just the way that you tell your story to yourself that affects the way that you go about your life.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I guess for me, I've never thought of, or I've never really had the thought of like, let's say, like the example you had of like, someone bumps into me, I think nothing of it.
Right.
So
but some people do.
I know. No, I know that some people do. But I'm just saying, like,
people that do.
Right. So for me, I could see trying to, if I were to do this, then I would have to pick like certain phrases or words. I think I stress more over some of the like factual things of my life, like that I know that are like just not like over thoughts, but just like factual statements. Like, I am heavier than I would like to be. I do need to save money or have more money eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are just factual things. Like, I can see quantifiably like a number on a scale, number on a bank account. So it's like, those are the things that I stress over. But then I try to just tell myself like, well, take more time, you know, to build up your wealth, or take more time, eat better to lose more weight, type of stuff. But I'm never like, like if I like, I think, I don't even remember if I said this in like the last episode or whatever, but just like if I'm out and about, if somebody like looks at me, just, okay, whatever, cool, man, I don't really care. Like,
right.
I know how these things go in real life for me, and if somebody thinks I'm weird, okay, well, I'm never gonna see you again, kind of thing.
Right, but okay, so when it comes to like, oh, I am not at the weight that I would like to be, right? If you have a negative way of talking down to yourself and you happen to eat 2 more cookies than you would have liked to that day, and you ate them, and then you felt guilty about it, then your mind, if you are having a negative narrative going on, would tell yourself, oh, you're so dumb, you're so fat and ugly and stupid, and you should just give up right now, and then you'll never reach your goal.
Yeah, but I've never thought that, even if I've eaten okay, and I was joking about this with my friend the other night too. I ate super well. I had like chicken and rice and kimchi and was just drinking water and was just like feeling great. But I ate way too early. I ate at like 6 p.m., which is like normal, but that meant that I started cooking earlier. So anyways, normally we eat at like 7 or something like that. I ate way too early and was like, I'm hungry at like 10 p.m. I literally just left the house and got a box of cookies from Batch Cookie, which is like hella fat cookies, and then a whole ass pizza.
Okay.
I literally just came home with, and I didn't feel guilty. I was just like, I'm hungry. I have no more food to cook. Kind of lazy. I'm just gonna go get a pizza and a cookie. And I did, and I just ate like half of it and was like, I'll just eat less tomorrow. It's all good. Like, I'm not worried about it. You know, well, I don't feel guilty about it because I know. Well, okay, but I guess to the point is like, this is a bad example because for me, I know the calories in versus out, right? Like,
okay.
So a different example would probably be better, but when it comes to food, I don't care.
So in that case, then you have a good mentality. You tell yourselves good things every day. You don't have a bad something going on in your mind then that would affect that. So I was giving an example for someone who does. baby, right?
Right.
And then how that would affect them if they start to change the way and view themselves positively. If they were to take those 2 extra cookies because they felt that, then they eat it, then they go, you know what? Today I felt like eating those cookies and I stand by it, and I know that my body won't change drastically because of it, and tomorrow I just won't eat 2 of those cookies and I'll make the decision to eat like fruit instead if I want to. You know? People will be less hard on themselves if they start to implement these small little daily affirmations every day. And it doesn't seem like a big thing, but it does have a big impact.
It does. No, and I'm not trying to say that it doesn't. I'm just saying it's...
just for you in particular.
For me in particular, I can't take this advice currently.
God, Jack can't relate. Jack's got a good head on his shoulders.
I mean, no, I have my own set of problems, but...
Positive king 24/7.
No, that is not true. Here I have my piece of advice for
Jack's
the week.
Got a big bro advice of the week.
My advice of the week is sleep more.
Okay.
That's it. Sleep more.
Okay.
I just think that most people oftentimes don't get enough sleep. I definitely haven't had enough sleep over the last few days, and I can already feel it affecting me. So I'm going to try to make a better effort to get back on a good sleeping schedule. And I also found that although it sucks that I have to wake up really early for work, it is nice to be up earlier.
Yes. So what time do you go to bed?
What time should I go to bed, or what time do I go to bed?
What time do you go to bed?
I have been going to bed around 12:30, midnight 30, as I like to call it.
That's not bad.
It's bad when you have to wake up at 6 or 5. That's the thing, right? So it just all depends on like when you have to get up. Sleep accordingly. I mean, I know everyone says 6 to 8 hours. I personally feel like 8 is good. I personally would love 10, but my body is weird that way. So the more sleep that you can get, the better. And I had a really good sleep schedule for like the last month, and then I don't know what happened, but I think for the last couple of days I haven't been getting enough sleep, and I can already feel the difference in like my mood and my attention and my productivity. So sleep more, people. I think it is important.
Now, I think the thing is getting more consistent sleep, which is hard to figure out because how do you know if you're getting up in the middle of the night? How do you know if you're sleeping all the way through the night? Because I recently will go to bed at like 4 a.m, wake up at noon, and honestly, that's a long time to sleep. That is a good 8 hours.
8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'll go to bed at 2 a.m, and then I'll also wake up at noon, and that's 10 hours. But I'm still exhausted, and I need to take a 2-hour nap.
You want to know?
Now,
you want?
But then get this. Last night I went to bed at like 2 a.m, and then I woke up at 7. So 5 hours. I've never felt better. But guess what I did? I did affirmations before I went to bed, and when I woke up, and I felt rejuvenated and awake and refreshed.
Okay, well then maybe mix both of our advice bits combined, and then tell us what you guys think in the comments.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. Combine it together. But with that said, I think we're coming up on time.
Yeah, that works for me. Solid hour.
Solid hour. Yep. So
well, I guess the way we close out things as normal is definitely leave us notes in the comment of your favorite parts of our episodes and other topics that you want us to cover, or maybe if there's other shows out there that you guys are watching that you want us to check out too. Leave those in the comments. But other than that, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, check us out on all the socials. We'll drop those in the description box. And yeah. Anything else, Jenna?
I I think that's it. That has been episode 2 of Fire and Rice Podcast Reheated. Woo! That is all. That is it. And peace.
Peace.
Deuces.